thought about what you would do if you actually won the lottery? Because I've been thinking about this a lot recently. As the more videos I make on this channel about personal finance and business, I've never once in my entire life bought a lottery ticket. However, I have lived enough to see a few people actually win the Powerball. No one in my life, no one I've ever met, but at least not that I know of, which I will touch on in this video. But part of what I want to think about is, what would you actually do if you won all that money? And so that's exactly what I did. I ran through and I ran the numbers, and this is what I came up with. So that's what this video is going to be. This one's kind of a fun one, not necessarily personal finance or anything like that, but it is a spark of discussion. What would you do with your money if you did actually win? Well, I don't encourage gambling or anything like that. It is an interesting thing to think about. I want my viewers to build wealth from lifetime investments that, are going to build up over time, and that are safe, at least relative to something as risky as gambling. But I do, however, think you can enjoy life. You can have fun. Things like that can be fun. So first, I want to talk about a few things that happen when people do win the lottery. 3 out of 4 people lose it within the first 4 years, and multiple people lose it all by the time they're done. Very rarely do people actually keep all the money they got. And there's a few reasons for this. My guess is because they didn't have to build it up. It didn't take anything to earn it other than just luck. And when money comes easily, it leaves faster. A couple things about the lottery. One, the chances of you winning are very, very, very low. Typically, people who play the lottery are going to be in lower income areas. And I think the reason for that is because wealthy people, middle-class people, things like that, the people that are building their actual wealth know that it is a waste of money to take a risk that bad when there are more guaranteed ways to build wealth. If I put $100 into my investment portfolio right now, I know that in 20, 30 years, I'm going to have a lot more in returns. However, if I put $100 in a lotto tickets, it's guaranteed gone. Like, it's almost a guarantee that it's gone. So I do want to say that, if we're looking to build wealth and we're looking to do that consistently, investing in doing smarter things with your money is definitely the way to go. But according to data from Powerball, the average jackpot size over the last 20 years is about $205.2 million. Okay, so obviously if the winnings are 202 million or something like that, 205.2, then let's half that. Let's say I get a nice even 100 mil. As you do, you just get 100 million. Let's say I get a nice even 100 mil. Well, I live in Texas, so first off, I don't have to pay taxes on that. I do have to pay federal tax for a lottery winning, but I don't have to pay any other type of tax in Texas. So the federal tax is going to be 24%. So I'm really glad I started with even numbers. So if I have an even 100 mil, 24% is 24 million in taxes, and then I am left with $76 million. So I'm going to throw it up on the screen here as I kind of read what I would do. But let's go ahead and get into this. So the first thing I would do if I win, I would just stay calm. I would not do anything just yet. I would take a minute, let everything come through, let the money come through, let it land in my personal checking account, and we'll go from there. I'm not going to tell anyone. I'll probably tell my wife, but I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm not going to go out and buy anything insane immediately. And there's a few reasons for this. Most people, when they lose their wealth, it's because they immediately started spending it. Again, money that comes that easy, it warps your view when it comes to how you actually earn money. So in that case, I would just wait. I would build up, I wait for the money to come in. I'd start maybe working on moving it around, but nothing in my life would probably immediately change. I might quit my job, but I'm not telling anyone that. I'll probably just continue to focus on YouTube, continuing to live my life. I might start eating a little bit better. I might spend more time with my friends, and we'll get into this a little more, but I more want to consider what you would do. What would you do if you won the money? Would you pay off debt, set aside some money for emergencies? Would you make some investments? Would you give anything back to the community? Would you give any away to your family or friends? What would you do if you won 100 million? So, enough delay. All right, so presuming I won, this is what I would do. So I'm 21 years old. Let's say I won 100 mil, pay 24. So I pay 24 million in taxes, and that leaves me with $76 million. So I'm going to go in order from smallest to largest of the things that I would do. And this is subject to change. The more I learn about finances and the more I learn about money and maybe some new things come out over my lifetime, this is subject to change. But right now at 21, this is what I would do. So my Roth IRA, I'd max it out every single year, mostly just for the tax benefits, but I'd max it out every single year. So that's $7,000 until I'm 50. And then, so that's going to come out to about $203,000 in that. And then $8,000 a year until I'm 65, or another $120,000. So that's $323,000 total invested. And then my estimated returns, and all of these returns are going to be starting with zero, having a 8% return after the allotted time. So I'd come out with about $2.6 million in returns. And that also leaves me with $75 million left. So then we'll go to my 401k, because why not? I'll put $23,000 in a year for 44 years. I don't really care to do the math because I don't think I'd actually max out my 401k whenever the extra contributions come in. I would for my Roth IRA, but because the 401k is still going to have taxes, I'm not going to do it. So $23K a year for 44 years, that's about $1 million right there, and 8.2 million in returns. So that leaves me with 74,665,000. And then to make it even numbers, I'd spend about 2 mil on myself. So that's going to be getting in the best shape of my life. That's going to be buying a house, maybe a second property that we can vacation at. That's going to be clothes, cars, watches, anything Lauren wants, good food, good, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'd buy an amazing computer, a fantastic camera. It's going to be difficult for me to blow through 2 million, but that's what I'd set aside. And I probably won't spend it all at once, but I would just set up $2 million to just, that be my money that out of 100 million, I can waste, and not really waste because I'm investing in myself, but I can just spend the 2 million. So to continue, there are no returns for that, obviously. So that leaves me with 72.6 million. And then I would donate the 7.6 million to, whether it be a good church or a charity or a nonprofit or a specific fund for somebody. I would just donate it. I might not do all of that all at once, but I would set aside the 7.6 million to just use as time goes on. And then I would set up HYSA. Mine currently has 4.5%, and I'm guessing if I have $10 million in my high yield savings account, which is what I would put in there, if I have 10 million in there, they could probably get me something close to 4.5%, which would roughly give me about $450,000 to $500,000 a year in just literally passive income. Because I have a $10 million savings account, the interest off of that would be my income for the year. And so that would be kind of what I'm living off of as time goes on, is just that interest. And that way I don't have to pull from any investments. But at the same time, I still have a pile of 10 million where I don't think anything will come up that needs $10 million. But if anything comes up one year where I need to take out a little more and I can just leave it in the next year, I can definitely do that. So that then leaves me with 55 million, pretty much even. And so then I would put 10 million in the Vanguard VTSAX, which is just a good index fund that I chose. I was reading through some of them. That's just the one that I chose. To put 10 million a year at an 8% return for 44 years should yield me, that's it, $295 million. Holy. So that leaves me with 45 million, and then I put 10 million in private equity. So there's no way to really determine what the return on this would actually be. But putting 10 million in private equity, whether that's somebody else's business, my business, whatever that might be, again, this would be spread out over multiple years. But I'd put 10 million. Maybe I'll put 50,000 in the next Uber, the next Snapchat, the next Google, the next Amazon. So, or maybe I'll completely fail and I'll put it in the next MySpace or Atari, or 50,000 in the next whatever it might be, and it might completely go down. So there's no way to really know, but I would definitely use that 10 million to be a part of some businesses that are in the community that could grow to be a lot more. So then on top of that, I put 10 mil in real estate. And if you haven't figured out a pattern yet, I'm trying to diversify more my portfolio. I'm avoiding crypto, and I'm not explaining, I'm not doing crypto. Yeah, I'd probably put about 10 million in real estate just to diversify more my portfolio. I'd take some of the, the money out of that, and I'd just pay a property manager to manage all those properties. Again, I'd buy them over a handful of years. If I won 100 mil today, I would wait until the market is a little bit better to actually buy real estate. But in that specific way, if real estate goes up 4.3% a year, and it's been doing that on average since 1991, if it goes up 4.3% a year, I should have, after 44 years, assuming I don't sell any of my properties, I should have about $63 million in the real estate sector. So, of course, I don't want to be a landlord, which is why I'd pay a very good property manager to deal with all of that for me. But having that as a part of my portfolio, regardless of any of the actual income I should get from, the rent or the Airbnb or whatever it might be, the actual worth of the buildings that I would own should come out to be about 60 to 70 million. And then that leaves me with an even 25 mil. And what I'd put that in, quite frankly, is the S&P 500. That is the most boring answer I could have thought of. But 25 mil in the Vanguard VFIAX at an 8% return for 44 years should yield me $738 million. And for anyone keeping track, I know I've been throwing the more specific numbers up on the screen, but with no further contributions and anything like that, I should have a lifetime return, or when I'm 65. It could keep going higher, assuming I don't really take out, and I probably wouldn't. I would just let it continually build until I can be, Warren Buffett stature. But I would have $1.1 billion, or more specifically, $1,109,121,701.36. And again, this is not considering any private equity. And this is considering that all of my actual investments, like real estate and both of those index funds, are only going to have an 8% return, or for real estate, a 4.3% return. So if the market does better, it could be a lot higher. If the market does worse, it could do a lot worse. But at the end of the day, that's what I do with 100 mil. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you guys have enjoyed, drop a like and comment down below what I should talk about next. And hey, check out my video where I talk about financing a car and why you shouldn't do it. Or if you're going to do it, why you should. Check it out.